A very good morning to you watching Westnile Television. You're most welcome, and this is KOKOLIRIKO Live, Friday edition of the program KOKOLIRIKO on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi. It's a Friday, and you have to know that the 2nd of June 2023, and it's a weekend, and so we have started our weekend this morning. All right, dear viewer, I think on the sad note, we want to let you know that the 9:30 p.m. California bus from Arua heading to Kampala yesterday night knocked a lorry full of charcoal near Mijera, some few minutes, that is around 4:30 a.m. in the early morning, and the front seaters are badly injured, is according to the information that we have obtained here. And so if my producer can get for us some of the pictures from that is the California bus, and you see how serious the accident was. It is really quite unfortunate right there. Before starting the show, I was speaking to one of the victims who really sustained some injuries, and so according to the information trickling in that we shall later on confirm from the police, is that around 4 persons have been confirmed dead from this particular accident. So if you have your relatives who left Arua yesterday night by 9:30 using the California bus, you have to know that the bus was able to knock a lorry carrying a charcoal that I think parked around Mijera. Is quite unfortunate right there. And so we continue to pray for the departed souls and those who have sustained injuries so that they really recover. It's quite unfortunate, and this calls for vigilance at this particular time that we need to really. So that is the photo or the picture of the California bus from Arua. That was heading to Kampala, and it is a 9:30 p.m. bus from Arua, California bus from Arua. It's quite unfortunate right there. So according to the information that we have obtained here, is that around 4 persons have been confirmed dead, and I have been speaking to one of the victims who sustained injury, and she says that others are being referred for further management, and so there are some health facilities around Mijera that these persons who sustain injuries are receiving treatment from, and so it's quite unfortunate right there. And so I think as members of the public, we need to be very vigilant, more especially when we are driving in the night. The drivers, please, when we are driving in the night, we need to be very careful, and the speed that we are supposed to use. We thank God that that some people have really survived on earth, and that is we give glory to God, and it's quite unfortunate right there. And so I believe that police will be able to issue a statement in regards to that, what exactly happened, who was on wrong. Is it the bus or the truck carrying the charcoal, as it has been reported here right there. And so for those who had their relatives traveling yesterday night from Arua using the California bus, please make sure that you call them and check on them and find out how they are doing. And so that is the latest that I can really give you right this morning. That is from the bus company, that is California right there. Dear viewer, we shall be getting to some of the stories that we have for you this morning from the Daily Monitor and the New Vision, and getting to know what is happening at the national level. It is important that you should be able to know what exactly going on in our country, Uganda. So starting this morning, we started with over 1 million candidates registered for Uganda National Examination Board. This is according to UNEB, and that 1 million candidates this time around have registered for, that is Uganda National Examination, that is either UCE or PLE, and also other examinations that are being sat right there. So more than 1.1 million Uganda candidates have been registered to sit for the 2023 National Examination. Uganda National Examination Board had first set May 31st as the deadline for registration. And so remember, today is 2nd June 2023, so the deadline for registration was 31st of May right there. And so what you need to know here is that the 31st as the deadline for registration of primary living examination, PLE, Uganda Certificate of Education, UCE, and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education, UACE candidates. And so, however, according to the June 1st press statement from the Executive Director of the Uganda National Examination Board, that is Daniel Odongo, the board has decided to extend the deadline to June 7th to accommodate more students, is the information that you need to know right there. At the end of the initial deadline, at least 96% of PLE, 91.2% of UCE, and 86% of the UACE candidates had been registered. This according to UNEB, translated to, that is 1,165,159 candidates registered for all the 3 sets of examination from 20,655 examination centers that we have in this country, Uganda. And so the board last year registered a total of 1.2 million learners for the 3 sets of examinations. Hence, about 900,000 are yet to be registered this year. However, all candidates who will be registered after June 7th will be subjected to a surge. Mr. Odongo said PLE candidates who will register between June 8th and 30th will pay a surge of that is 100%, which is 68,000, while UCE and UACE will pay a surge of 50%, and that is 246,000 and 279,000 respectively, right there. And so in the final phase of the late registration, candidates who will register in July will have to pay a surge of 100% at each level. In this regard, PLE candidates will be required to pay 68,000, and then UCE will be required to pay 328,000, while UACE will pay 372,000 right there. And so UNEB has cautioned teachers and parents that beyond July 31st, school will not be able to register any candidate. And so the above surge applies to private students across the country. Government pays registration fees for all the students studying in the universal primary and secondary schools and those in seed school. And so this year's candidates are expected to sit for their exams in October, starting with, that is, Uganda Certificate of Education. Candidates are followed by, that is, a PLE and UCE and UACE in November. And so that's something that you need to know, that if your child is a government-sponsored student, then you need not to pay these fees that Uganda National Examination Board has really put. And so if you have a private student studying in one of the secondary schools, and then that private student will be able to pay the registration fee that we are talking about here. And so all the children who are studying in seed schools, studying in government aided schools, and also some of the private supported government-aided schools will also see that the learners do not pay for examinations. So if you have a school that is government-aided and the school is requesting your child to pay for examination fee, and then you have to report that school to any government institutions that are charged with fighting corruption in this country, because that is one element of corruption that we need to really fight. And so if we do not really tell you this, you will never know, because schools will never tell you this, that learners are the learners who are being sponsored by government are not supposed to pay for examination fee, because for them they need money. They will never tell you this. They will keep telling your child to come back home and get some money for that is examination, not knowing that government has catered for all those fees that you have to pay in regards to your child sitting for that is the examinations set by Uganda National Examination Board right there. Away from the issues to do with the registration of our learners who will be sitting for Uganda National Examination in this country, let's get to other stories that we do have right here. You have to know that 2 years on families of missing youth alleged abduction is also another story that you need to know, that the families of 2 Ugandan youth who went missing in Bugolobi in 2020 are still stranded after searching for them for 2.5 years without trace. And so relatives allege that Vincent Nalumaso, a former motorcycle mechanic at Bugolobi, that is Market, and Martin Lukwago, a former fishmonger at the same market in Kampala, were abducted by security operatives in plain clothes and whisked away in a vehicle commonly known as a drone to unknown place. And so Lukwago and Nalumaso have been missing since November 23rd, 2020 and December 1st, 2020 respectively, and their whereabouts remain a mystery as of June, that is 2nd, 2023. And so age 70 Mary Naluboga, who raised Lukwago, said she is distressed about her nephew's disappearance because he helped handicapped her with everything from food, since she can, she can no longer work right there. So remember that the opposition political parties in this country have been demanding government of the Republic of Uganda to come out, to tell the members of the public the whereabouts of some of those that have been abducted using the common vehicle that is called a drone. And so in November before 2021 election, you have to know that the country was awash with issues to do with abduction, and up to now, according to the reports that we are getting, is that there are some people that their whereabouts is not yet known, and we do not know where exactly they are. And also this it is a very big challenge to the government of the Republic of Uganda, more especially Ministry of Internal Affairs. I think General David Muhoozi will be able to respond to this, and I believe that this will also come to the attention of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, and we shall be able to wait for the statement from the Minister of Internal Affairs, who should really update the members of the public in regards to this. And remember, the National Unity Platform has been taking lead in demanding for the political prisoners who were arrested before the 2021 election. And so we still continue to receive information that there are some people who are still missing, and this is up to the government of the Republic of Uganda to do the search and find the whereabouts of these persons that their family members are demanding to be really released, if at all they have been arrested and put in any of the government prisons that we do have in this country. If not, and then if they are in any of the safe houses that we do have in this country, and then they need to be really brought to court so that the family members are able to know where they are exactly. And so remember, sometimes back the security operatives were denying the issues to do with safe houses that we do have in this country, Uganda. And so we also wait to hear from Parliament of the Republic of Uganda what is exactly happening to these persons right there. Let's get to issues to do with electoral reforms in this country, Uganda. Opposition pushed for fresh electoral reforms. Yesterday, the president of National Unity Platform, that is Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, alias Bobby Wine, together with the leader of opposition, that is Matthias Mpuga, and not forgetting also Dr. Kizza Besigye joining in to really demand for the electoral reforms in this country if we are to have free and fair elections. But the members of the National Resistance Movement, the ruling party, have been saying that the election in this country has been free and fair, and so there's no need for electoral reforms. Much as the Supreme Court of this country was able to come out clearly with some of the reforms that are supposed to be adopted in as far as organizing elections in this country is concerned. And so the electoral reforms, this is not the first time. Remember, Uganda as a country has been able to organize around 7 cycles of elections in this country, right from that is 1996 when we had President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni taking on that is Semorgerere, and we did see President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni winning that election right there. And then in 2001 we did see the Dr. Kizza Besigye, who was one time a personal doctor to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, coming with this reform agenda. And from that time we started witnessing challenging of the outcome of the results that are being declared from the national elections. And then also 2006 we had another election in this country, Uganda. Don't forget that after 2006 election we had that is 2011 election. But before 2011 election, remember, Dr. Kizza Besigye was able to challenge the results of the 2006 election, where he says that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni did not win the election, only that he was really just declared a winner because of of the power that he holds in this country. And so in 2011 also there was another challenge of the election. Remember, the election was a little bit very chaotic as well. It was also challenged. The results of that election was challenged. And then in 2016, you can also remember that we had election in this country where we did have John Patrick Amama Babazi, the JPM, and also the Dr. Kizza Besigye on that particular race. The result was challenged by Dr. John Patrick Amama Babazi, challenging the outcome of the results. And then the Supreme Court of this country sat and came out with some of the reforms in regards to organizing election in this particular country. And so according to the information that we have here from the Daily Monitor in regards to the presentation of the electoral reforms that the opposition leaders were able to present yesterday in Kampala, it was a return to a family conversation yesterday as members of opposition political parties and academia gathered to discuss constitutional and electoral reforms. The proposals resurrected include addressing the militarization of politics politics and defining the role of the army and security agencies in election, the return of presidential term limits, and the nature of appointment of members of the Electoral Commission. And so Wandera Ogalo, an advocate and legal consultant, presented a paper highlighting the key highlights, the key legislative reforms needed to improve Uganda's political landscape. He proposed that the office of the vice president should become an elective position, and that is one of the proposals that Wandera Ogalo, who is an advocate and also a legal consultant, did really put right there, that the office of the vice president should be elective position, not appointed by the president of the Republic of Uganda. So if the country can really elect the president and also the vice president, that will really be good for our country, Uganda, because currently the vice president of the Republic of Uganda only performs the ceremonial functions, has no power to really take charge of certain things in this country, Uganda, and so he has to wait for communication from the president of the Republic of Uganda. And so if the position is elected, I think the vice president will also have some power to see how the affairs of this country is supposed to be run. And so quoting Ogalo, he says, a vice president should not be a person who delivers condolence messages at funerals, attend weddings and church services, on behalf of the president, but a partner in the office of the president assisting in the execution of duties. It restricts autocratic rule, and that is according to Ogalo Wandera, who is an advocate and also a legal consultant right there in Kampala. And so he also proposed abolition of the office of the prime minister, whose current duties will be transferred to the vice president's office. And so these are some of the proposals that are really coming through in regards to electoral reforms that the country is discussing right now. Remember, the different civil society organizations have also joined into really inquire from the citizens of the Republic of Uganda, seeking from the citizens, their views on these electoral reforms. What do you have to say? You have been participating in election in this country. Is it okay for us to go the way we are going currently with the way elections are being organized in this country, or you think that there are better things that can be done to see that the elections in this country is really properly managed right there? And so you have to know that other proposals include devolution and strengthening decentralization. Remember, the issue to do with the decentralization in our country, Uganda, started way back in 1993 when the country started the implementation of the decentralization. But currently, as we do talk, we have heard from different district leaders that decentralization is just, it is on paper, it's not working, because when you look at the implementation of some of these government programs, the powerhouse is in Kampala. The control of each and every resources is done from Kampala, and this makes the aspect of decentralization that is being talked of to be really null and void, and it is not really practically working, because when it comes to some programs, they bring in the aspect of decentralization, but when it comes to other programs, you find that decentralization is not working. Majorly, things are being controlled from the center, and this makes the aspect of decentralization meaningless. And so the proposal here is that devolution and strengthening decentralization, adopting proportional representation, removing the army from parliament, reducing the size of parliament, and implementing public vetting of judicial officers and other appointees. And remember, currently at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, we have 10 representatives of the army, and then also currently we have 571 members of parliament sitting at that August House. And if all the members of parliament are supposed to sit in that August House, trust me, the room is not enough, unless others will go to the gallery to take position where the members of the public who are not members of the parliament should be sitting. And so because of the huge number of members of parliament that we have at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, this proposal is really talking about reducing the size of parliament, because 571 members of parliament, some of them end up not even talking after 5 years. When the scorecard comes out, you see how one has been performing in regards to legislation. You'll find that some members of parliament will be captured as somebody who has never communicated or talked anything at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, not even mere presenting issues of national importance on the floor of parliament. What they will be captured for is only to stand up and say yes or no on certain issues that the country is discussing. And so they are proposing that the size of parliament should be reduced, and also implementing public vetting of judicial officers, that these judicial officers should be vetted, not appointed by the President of the Republic of Uganda. And we have to know that the Electoral Commission, currently the Electoral Commission chairperson is appointed by the President of the Republic of Uganda, and when it comes to the election in this country, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission is like a referee in a football match. And If you have been appointed, will you disappoint your boss? Is a simple question that I asked this morning. That if your boss gives you a job and you are eating well from the job that your boss has given you, will you disappoint him? I think no, because you need money and you need to survive. You need that social capital for yourself to see that you really survive in this country. And so these are some of the proposals that these opposition members of opposition are really, throwing. And this proposal came from, that is Wandera Ogalo, who is an advocate and also legal consultant in Kampala, right there. Challenges that they were able to highlight from these issues to do with electoral reforms is that many of these proposals have been previously put forward in similar forums and initiatives such as the Citizen Compact on Free and Fair Elections of 2014, the Supreme Court recommendations following the 2016 presidential election petition, and the Constitutional Review Commission of 2005. However, the challenge remains in getting the government to adopt them. And so, according to the members of the opposition, they are trying to say that, yes, they have done all possible means to see that these reforms are really, push for adoption, but unfortunate part of it is that government has no goodwill to really implement these particular reforms. And so remember, the Citizen Compact on Free and Fair Elections of 2014 came out with some of the reforms, the Supreme Court recommendations of after the 2016 election. You can also know around 10 points that the Supreme Court was able to highlight in regards to the electoral reforms in this country. But what awaits to be confirmed is the government's commitment in implementing these reforms that have been proposed by different institutions that have been set up in this country, Uganda. Remember the Constitutional Review Commission of 2005 that was really constituted, and I do not know whether they are still relevant or they're irrelevant in this country. And so the National Unity Platform Party President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu described the government as military dictatorship, and those are his words, quoting him saying that one lesson we have learned from the experiences of those who challenged Museveni before us and from our own experience fronted by the opposition. Anna Adeke, who represented the Forum for Democratic Change, highlighted the lack of political will in Parliament to support meaningful reforms. She criticized the selective adoption. She criticized the selective adoption of proposals and the disregard for the rule of law. But Saddam Gaira, the leader of the People's Progressive Party, however, emphasized the need to address internal divisions and personal interests that hinder collective action. He called for open and honest discussions right there. But as Puga, who is the leader of opposition, said it is crucial for the opposition not to give up the push for better governance. He said the existing legal and regulatory framework for elections is not sturdy enough to guarantee free, fair and peaceful elections. The country needs to reform the constitution and legislations that affirm and support the independence of electoral commission, protect against this enfranchisement of Ugandans, protects the rights of opposition candidates and ensure principles of transparency, equity and accountability right there. And so Professor Joe Oloka Onyango, a lawyer, discussed parliamentary roles in protecting the constitution and called for bottom-up constitutional reform. He cautioned against relying on the government to spearhead reforms and called on opposition leaders to take charge. And quoting him saying that we are waiting for Norbert Mao, who is the Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister, and his Constitutional Reform Commission. If that happens, we will be here in 20 years' time lamenting. We cannot wait for the state to bring manna to our tables. We must take over this process, and that's according to Professor Oloka right there. So the three-day workshop aimed to serve as a precursor to broader consultations that would involve multiple stakeholders across the country. The ultimate goal is to generate final proposals for electoral and constitutional reforms in our country, Uganda. And so that is something that I can really let you know in regards to the electoral reforms consultations that are really currently going on in our country, Uganda. And you have to know that in Westnile here, Westnile's civil society network is also trying its best to see that they get from the the wananchi here in West Nile. What do you think can work well when it comes to election in this country, Uganda? And so if you have your views, you can also as well drop it right there in our comment box on Westnile Television YouTube page. For those who are catching us live this morning at the KOKOLIRIKO Show. My name is Denis Oringi. We still have more for you this morning before we go for a break. And remember, we have 5 minutes to the top of the hour over 8 a.m. right on Westnile Television. It's a Friday, and so allow me to let you know some of the issues that you need to know. Kayunga Hospital private wing lies idle for 3 years, and you have to know that Kayunga Hospital was refurbished together with Yumbe Hospital. And as we talk right now, I think the status of Yumbe Hospital deserves a referral hospital, but it has not yet been confirmed by the Ministry of Health that Yumbe is a referral hospital like Karua. And so Yumbe, Kayunga, these two hospitals that we have in this country, Uganda, were refurbished. And so if you have to go to Yumbe Hospital right now, the state of the art that we have at the Yumbe Hospital, let me tell you that you will be impressive. But I don't know how the private wing at that hospital in Yumbe is working, is doing. Is it doing the same with the private wing that we do have here at Arua Regional Referral Hospital? And also, is it the same case with the Kayunga Hospital that the private wing has, is lying idle right there, and it has lied idle for around 3 years already. And so government of the Republic of Uganda spent a lot of money in refurbishing these hospitals that we do have. So it's upon the government of the Republic of Uganda to say that we have enough health workers who are supposed to provide services at these hospitals that we do have right there. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the newly refurbished hospitals that we have in this country, Uganda, Kayunga Hospital and also Yumbe Hospital. But Yumbe Hospital is not yet a referral hospital, as some people do really say, but it is still a hospital status, not referral, because in West Nile we have only one referral hospital, and that is Arua Regional Referral Hospital. And so Yumbe, if the Minister of Health confirms that is now another regional referral hospital that we have in West Nile, and this will really reduce on the number of patients that do come to Arua Regional Referral Hospital seeking for health services. And in terms of the state of the art, let me tell you that Yumbe Hospital has got the state of the art when it comes to the machines that are supposed to be used to improve health services in this region. And so we give kudos to government of the Republic of Uganda for thinking about the people of West Nile by putting up such magnificent hospital in Yumbe. And so it's upon us to see how we can really put that facility into proper use. When it comes to the accommodation of the health workers in Yumbe, let me tell you, I think if there are health workers in West Nile who are not complaining when it comes to where they're working, then I am talking about the health workers who are working at Yumbe Hospital, because they are really enjoying the state of that hospital right there. And so let's get to another story this morning. Court orders, a funeral home to pay shillings at 260 million to motorcyclists knocked by company car. It's also another story that you need to know, that Uganda Funeral Services ordered to pay 260 million to motorcyclists knocked by company car. Right there, the High Court in Kampala has ordered Uganda Funeral Services Limited to pay over 260 million as compensation for special damages and general damages to a man who was knocked and injured by one of the company's vehicle. Justice Musa Sekana's decision came after hearing a case that was filed in 2022 against the funeral service by one Hirani Maji Kanji, who told court that the speeding car registration number UAY 513Y that belongs to Uganda Funeral Services knocked him on December 21st, 2021 while he was riding his motorcycle, registration number UEC 289N. So according to Kanji, the crash left him with life-threatening injuries for which he is still undergoing treatment. The said vehicle was, according to the evidence before court, being driven on the wrong side of the road when it knocked Kanji in a hit and run incident right there that happened, for your information. And so if we dive into more, let's talk about the East African Community extends a mandate of regional force in Congo to September. It's also another story that you need to know here, that the leaders of the East African Community on Wednesday approved the extension of the mandate of the regional force in the Democratic Republic of Congo until September, but the 6-month extension effective, that is March 8th, has to be ratified by the government in Kinshasa, the formal requirement to fulfill the pact with the East African Community. And so the decision emerged from, that is the 21st extraordinary summit of the bloc's heads of state in Burundian, that is commercial capital Bujumbura, chaired by President Evariste Ndayishimiye, a community communique, read by the East African Secretary General Peter, that is Matuki, said the extension of the mandate of the vision known as the East African Community Regional Force is aimed, at that is consolidating the gains made by the force that has helped achieve a relative return, to normalcy in the region, a result of a 2-month ceasefire between the local army and then the FARDC and the dominant rebel group M23. So the East African Community Regional Force says M23 has moved to that is a cantonment area in spite of the continual sporadic clashes. Only 2 presidents were present at the summit: President Ndayishimiye, the host, and the Kenya's William Ruto. Other 5 member states sent representatives: Tanzania Vice President Philippe Mpango, Rwanda Prime Minister Edward Ngirente, Uganda's first Deputy Prime Minister, and also Minister for East African Affairs Rebecca Kadaga, South Sudan Minister of Presidential Affairs Banarba Marshall Benjamin, and also Democratic Republic of Congo's Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Leonardo Sheke Okitundu. The East African Community Regional Force Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, who has openly criticized the East African Regional Force for refusing to take on M23, had initially agreed to extend the force stay until June after its mandate expired in March. In April, the East African Regional Force Commander Major General, that is Jaffa Nyanga, resigned at the highest of the troops' ineffectiveness claim. The East African Community Regional Force has always urged that its mandate does not allow for combat summit resolutions. The summit also took note of Nyanga's replacement by the general, that is Al-Fazakse Muturi Hugi, said in May right there. So the heads of state directed the regional force to sustain the orderly withdrawal of the M23 and other armed groups from the areas they are yet to vacate. So the East African Community Regional Force is also required to support internally displaced persons return to the areas vacated by the armed groups, together with the United Nations peacekeeping mission, that is Monskuko. East African Community directed the verification of the sustainability suitability of the, that is Rumangombo, a base currently occupied by Kenya Defense Forces, KDF, and also South Sudan People's Defense Forces as a cantonment area for M23 and other armed groups within 3 weeks. And so the leaders also directed that all communications to M23 be handled by the peace process facilitator, former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta. The summit also called for the resumption of the inter-Congolese talks facilitated by that is Mr. Kenyatta. The leaders noted that the solution to the conflict in the East can only be sustainably, resolved through a political process and dialogue among other parties. And so the summit also directed the setting up of a civilian-head mission to coordinate political related matters of the regional force. In a statement, that is President Ruto said the civilian officer who would help shield the East African regional force from political and public affairs matters. And so quoting him saying that this will enhance peace and security in the region, he added, and so the East African Community Secretariat was directed to form a technical committee by June 15th to evaluate the implementation of the forced mandate and table a report within 90 days. These were some of the resolutions from the meeting that took place in Bujumbura, that is the capital of Burundi right there. Let's go for a break. 3 minutes past over 8 a.m. right on Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi. We shall be bouncing back with more stories that we have for you in the dailies today, the Daily Bulletin, and also the New Vision. And before getting into what is happening in the world of sports this morning of Friday, it's a weekend. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's go for a break, and we'll be coming right back. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Chill. Feel. Live price.
Tekina kitambana. Namindo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Namindo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Namindo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumira wano tewanyuma. Tewazena kulabia katimwe. Tonebye kunyumira dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kubazinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa bia. Amatuki. Atongoko. Amatuki. Atongoko. Amatuki. Atongoko. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back. You're still watching Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's get to more stories that we have for you in the Daily Bulletin this morning. Almost 90% of district service commissions are corrupt, says that is internal security organization right there. Is it true that 90% of the district service commission are corrupt? Let's find out on this particular story here. The Deputy Director General of the Internal Security Organization said officials in the District Service Commission extort money for job seekers. The District Service Commission is established under Section 54, Subsection 1 of the Local Government Act as amended. And so the Internal Security Officer's Deputy Director General said almost 90% of District Service Commission are corrupt. So Lieutenant Colonel Emi Katabazi said the officials in the District Service Commissions extort money from job seekers, adding that ISO has been tasked to ensure such vices are wiped out. And quoting, that is from him, he says that they have slept with our daughters, promising them jobs, and the president has been briefed about these unfortunate incidents. But how come you, the RDC's resident district commissioners and DISO's district internal security officer aren't aware of such incidents? He said during a capacity building training of RDC's and ISO officers from Bunyoro and Rwenzori in Hoima City on Monday. And so the District Service Commission is established under Section 54, Subsection 1 of the Local Government Act. And so a District Service Commission shall consist of a person, shall consist of a chairperson and such other members as district council shall determine, at least one of whom shall represent urban authorities, and all of whom shall be appointed by the district council on the recommendation of the district executive committee with the approval of the public service. Section 54 subsection 2 states right there. Saudi Nagoli, an associate professor at Macquarie University Business School, said about 65% of government projects fail because of corrupt individuals. In low developed nations like Uganda, the biggest challenge as to why projects fail is because of the ability to take selfish interest. It is upon you who are here to reduce that statistics. And so the cancer of failure is not technical, it is human. And so that's what is coming through right there. And so the Minister for Presidency, who is none other than Millie Babire Babalanda, in her message, which was delivered by Lieutenant Colonel Katabazi, urged resident district commissioners and also district internal security officers to join the fight against corruption, quoting Babalanda saying that there is a major disease that has affected the implementation of government programs and projects. When we talk about corruption, the fingers quickly point at actors at the national level, but forget the actors at the local level who play an even greater role in implementing government policies. That's according to Millie Babalanda, who is the Minister of Presidency. She added that there are several government projects that have been abandoned by contractors because of corruption, and we shall be getting to another story in regards to that. And so, quoting her saying that I have information about contractors who have abandoned their work partly due to corruption or laziness. That's according to the minister. If you go to Pawar Seed Secondary School, that is one of the live examples that I like giving when it comes to implementing government programs by by the districts, and also giving the program or the projects to the contractors. Pawar Seed Secondary School, I think that is not the scope of the project. That is not what the scope of the project says. If you have ever gone to that particular school, the district leadership of Madioko has disowned that particular project of Pawar Seed Secondary School because it was a rural district that implemented. The scope of the project was not properly followed. Even as I do talk right now, there are cracks all over the structures at Pawar Seed Secondary School. Nonetheless, the students continue to study in such a structure without somebody taking initiative to see that those that were involved in the construction of that facility are really implicated if we are talking about fighting corruption in this particular country. So that is one of the examples that we have in West Nile, and we shall also be getting to more examples for you right there. And so selling jobs during the Liberation Day celebration in Kakumiro district on February 26, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni said he had been informed that some district service commissions were selling government jobs to job seekers. I have been told that girls are being exploited sexually to get jobs. Get evidence so that we get rid of those pigs, Mr. Museveni said right there. And so he wondered why DSOs and the Criminal Intelligence Directorate, CID, have failed to curb the vice right there. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the District Service Commission, where they say that 90% of the district service commissions that we have in our country, Uganda, are corrupt right there. And so that is something that you need to know. Suspected lesbian head teachers, a partner gets bail is also another story that you need to know. That is the other school in Jinja that some teachers were accused of practicing lesbianism and also recruiting young girls into this vice right there. Gunmen raid Minister Museno farm is also another story that you need to know right there. And then former captives get income generating skills is also another good story. Who are these captives is also another question that you need to know right here. That more than 200 former Lord Resistance Army captives have completed a 2-year vocational and technical training program in Gulu City. They received skills in tailoring, carpentry, fashion designing and handicraft. Raymond Otim, one of the beneficiaries from Lamua district who graduated in carpentry, hopes to start a workshop and train other young people, and that's a good one right there. And so the environment that has been created, provided by the government of the Republic of Uganda, I'm talking about peace and stability, can, make the former captives to appreciate very much that you can survive in this country, Uganda, regardless of where you're coming from, your past history. I know that the LRA insurgency in northern Uganda affected the lives of many people, more especially the Acholi people, and also people in Lao and also Teso sub-region right there, and also a part of West Nile, because we had business people who lost their goods when they were doing business between Kampala and Arua. And so they are still demanding government of the Republic of Uganda to compensate them. But as they wait for the compensation from the government of the Republic of Uganda, I think they can really use the available peace that we are enjoying at this particular time to improve their lives as they wait for that is government of the Republic of Uganda to compensate them right there. National Teachers College students stranded over academic papers. This is also another story that you need to know here, that more than 400 students of Kabale National Teachers College who completed studies last year have not yet received their academic credentials. The students pursued a 2-year course in secondary education and completed in March but have not graduated. According to the affected students, the Kabale National Teachers College has not yet remitted funds to Chambogo University to process the academic results. And so the Kabale National Teachers College, the former guild president Joshua Kweshirisima on Monday said he completed his course in March last year, but he is unable to secure jobs or even pursue further studies without his documents. So he added, when I tried to contact the principal of the college, he told me to inquire from Chambogo University. The university Vice Chancellor Professor, that is Eli Katunguka, said the Kabale National Teachers College had not remitted funds for the cost of processing academic results. Sharon Tungire, a Kiswahili teacher, said she joined Kabale NTC in 2019 and she had anticipated to complete her studies after 2 years, but due to COVID-19 disruptions, they completed in March 2022. But up to now, we have never received our results, and so we do not know if we have retakes or not. When we asked, they told us to wait, claiming that Chambogo University is going through modulation. They keep postponing our graduation, and so that's according to these grantor students of Kabale National Teachers College who are really demanding the academic papers after completing their studies last year in March. And so you have to know that government of the Republic of Uganda has decided to face off that is the 2-year secondary education for those who want to become secondary school teachers in this country, Uganda. So currently the National Teachers Colleges that we do have in this country is they are undergoing what we call remodeling, and so very soon we shall now be having a different set of students joining these colleges that are going to be implementing the teachers' policy that have been adopted by our government of the Republic of Uganda through the Ministry of Education and Sport. And so very soon we shall be having people studying that degree in secondary school, in secondary education. And so for those who want to join teaching in secondary schools, you have to know that now they need those who have a degree for them to really teach. And that's according to the teacher policy that has been adopted in this country, Uganda. And so that's something that I can really inform you this morning about as you keep on getting to understand what is happening in our country, Uganda, right there for you. Okay, you have to know that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni says that if they cut aid, we will discipline our expenditure. Oh, let them cut their head. We don't want, we can discipline ourselves when it comes to issue of expenditure here in our country, Uganda. Museveni tells of anti-gay law critics that 24 hours after the U.S. government led its European allies in attacking Uganda over the new Anti-Homosexuality Act, President Museveni has defended his decision to sign the bill into law, calling on all Ugandans to remain firm. The president rallied the country around the law just as the World Bank Group became the latest West leading enterprise to signal it may also withdraw funding to Uganda because of the law. The other time when I met you at Kololo, I said you people should be ready for a war, and you cannot fight a war when you are a pleasure seeker. If you like a soft life, so far, war is not for soft life, Mr. Museveni told members of parliament attending the ruling party's parliamentary caucus retreat in Chamkwanzi yesterday. And so a statement released by the presidential press unit quoted Mr. Museveni to have observed that homosexuality is a serious issue with grave consequences for the human race. He is reported to have applauded members of parliament for overwhelmingly voting for the law, acknowledging that they were fighting for the right cause. Parliament and State House have been unshakably united behind this law, resolutely urging each other that is on at every step of the way, as the popular, that is private members, a bill sponsored by Bujiri Municipality Member of Parliament Asman Basalirwa was processed. So not even threats of economic and personal sanctions from the United States and its Western allies, have moved their dogged determination to protect Uganda's cultural values and the integrity of the family. Yesterday, the World Bank, one of the leading multilateral lending institutions, said the law runs counter to its values of non-discrimination. The World Bank Group is highly concerned with Uganda's enactment of the 2023 Anti-Homosexuality Act. If implemented, the act would endanger people by placing an added barrier to vital medical care, disease screening and precautions, the statement read in part. So further, the act is not consistent with the values of non-discrimination and inclusion that the institution upholds, that to achieve its goal of ending extreme poverty and boosting shared prosperity. The World Bank Group places inclusive, that is development at the forefront, with a focus on all groups, especially those who are marginalized, disadvantaged, or vulnerable, the statement urged. And so the statement, however, did not explain exactly how the bank believes the new law will stop access to medical care for suspected homosexuals, lesbians, and gay people in Uganda. It also did not say how the bank development support in Uganda could probably be either manipulated or somehow channeled in a manner that puts vulnerable groups at a disadvantage. And so Health Ministry, and other that is Uganda government officials on Tuesday unanimously rejected a false US President Joe Biden's claims that HIV positive gay people in Uganda are now at greater risk, noting that his views were probably based on an inaccurate reading of the law. Medical practitioners in Uganda Health Ministry spokesperson said, do not first inquire about bisexual orientation of the patients when administering treatment. Healthcare is for everyone, regardless of who you are. We even look after those who are on death row. So our people is calling it, our work is a calling. It is not about feeling an interest, and that is according to Dr. Daniel Akiabajinze. Americans are trying to frame it as if we are against certain groups. I do not know why they are attaching the Anti-Homosexuality Act to the Ministry of Health. It has nothing to do with health, he added right there. So Finance Ministry spokesperson, that is Jim Mugunga, last night said the statement from the World Bank is not a surprise, nor was it unexpected. And so I am aware that during recent spring meetings, our development partners had specific inquiries on the same issues, and the government delegation spent time explaining and giving assurances. I am also aware that both the Attorney General and Permanent Secretary to the Secretary of the Treasury formally made the representations and engaged at very senior levels beyond the World Bank. I believe just like Uganda, the World Bank has values to uphold and hence have included this in the statement. Likewise, as a country, a decision on a national values was adopted and uttered into law. That's according to Mr. Mugunga right there. So adding, as a ministry, our role is to plan and adjust to the current demands within available resources and legal environment. We are not structured to press panic buttons. As value members of the World Bank Group, we remain committed to continue mutual engagements aimed at resolving misunderstanding, if any. Officials at the World Bank contacted for comments yesterday did not respond to the request for more information about what their statement means for Uganda right there. And so that is what you need to know. But for information, you have to know that many of the projects that are being implemented here in our country, Uganda, they are being funded by World Bank. And so if World Bank Group continues to issue such statement, I think it really sends a very bad signal to our country, Uganda, in regards to the implementation of the different projects that we do have. And that means that as a country, we need to go back to the drawing board and begin adjusting, cutting our coats according to our size, and we see how we can really continue to implement some of the projects without even relying on the donors who are always supporting the developmental agenda that the country has right there. And so the Wananchi will continue to see that they pay taxes, so the government of the Republic of Uganda is able to meet its obligation. Remember, Uganda Revenue Authority has been charged with the responsibility of ensuring that the country gets the revenue that is required for really running the developmental agenda or the developmental programs that the country is committed to rolling out right there. Dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be diving into what we have in the new vision this morning. My name is Denis Oringi, and it's a Friday edition of the program, the KOKOLIRIKO Show on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break, and we shall be coming right back to tell you what we have in the new vision this morning of the Friday.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
More for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
And this is Zero comes on the flow. Chill. Different price.
Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana. Nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonaba kunyumira wano tewanyuma. Tuwazena kulapia katimwe. Tonye kunyumira dekazine. Aluwa kiruze kuwazinira mu. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Lekanzine. Toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa bia. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Amatuki. Atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Minutes over 8 AM right on Westnile Television. We shall be getting done by at 9 a.m. in the morning. And so let's get to the new vision this morning. I have to tell you that soldier injured by Karimojang warrior arrow in Moroto right there. And so the soldier Private Alex Odere, 24, attached to the X-ray battalion under the Army's 3rd Division, was guarding a community kraal on Wednesday night when suspected criminal elements aimed arrows at him at 8 p.m. The Army said Odere was part of the night security deployed to secure a community kraal in Loptuk village and surrounding areas in Moroto district. UPDF 3rd Division spokesperson Major Isaac Oware said Odere was injured on the knee and was quickly evacuated to Moroto Regional Referral Hospital. Oware added that efforts had been made to airlift him to Mulago National Referral Hospital in Kampala for further management. The spokesperson says the criminal elements are being pursued by a joint security squad for their possible arrest. According to Oware, with the cooperation, of the local leadership and good allies, the suspects shall be apprehended and brought to book, is what you need to know. So he warned anybody possessing dangerous weapons, bows, arrows, and spears risk being arrested if they are not surrendered at the nearest security force units or local leadership right there. So he reminded the residents that the ongoing concept of disarmament operation deals with and targets warrior networks, including those armed with guns, bows, arrows, and spears, warriors profiled but still at large, cattle rustlers who use sticks to drive stolen livestock, and collaborators linked to warriors. The Army also appealed to relatives of suspects and local leaders to desist from pleading for suspects, provoking security forces while executing their lawful obligation and harboring wrong elements. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the disarmament operations that is currently going on in Karamoja region right there. It's quite unfortunate that the soldier was injured right there, and so we pray for the soldiers who are right there. Take care of women in your lives, Archbishop Kazimba has spoken right there. And so what is he saying and what is he telling us right here? Church of Uganda Archbishop Stephen Kazimba Mugalo has urged men to take care of the women in their lives. Kazimba made the call during the funeral service of Canon Dr. Constance Kabonero at All Saints Cathedral in Nakasero, Kampala on Thursday right there. And so throughout her life, Kazimba said Kabonero, 92, who was a lay canon in the Church of Uganda, fearlessly loved and served God right there. So he amused mourners when he said that mothers are very important because they decide the clan a person belongs to. As we celebrate the lives of Mama Kabonero, we need to remind ourselves that a mother's word is not doubted. Some men have children that are not theirs. So if your mother is still alive, you need to love and take care of her. That's according to Kazimba right there. He also reminded mourners who have turned 70 years to always thank God for their lives, because at the age, according to Kazimba, they are in bonus years. And so during the funeral service at the fully packed All Saints Cathedral, which was filled with the weeping and sobbing friends and family, described the late Kabonero as a remarkable woman who lived a life full of passion, determination, and entrepreneurship right there. And so that is something that you need to know from the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, who is none other than Stephen Kazimba Mugalo right there. And so what other story can I give you this morning? Ruling in Wakiso land officials fraud case postponed. And then also what you need to know that Fort Portal unveils a plan to eliminate darkness from the city. And so let's get to the international stories from the New Vision this morning. I have to tell you here that Republican DeSantis begins a presidential bid in Trump's shadow. It's also another story that you need to know today, 2nd of June 2023 is what you need to know. And then also how drone warfare has evolved in Ukraine. This is another story that should really come to your attention. And also allow me to tell you here that Beijing blames US provocation for South China Sea. That is a jet incident is what you need to know, that the Beijing blamed US provocation on Wednesday for an incident last week in which a Chinese plane crashed in front of an American surveillance aircraft over the South China Sea. And so the incident comes at a time of frayed ties between Washington and Beijing over issues including Taiwan, which China regards as its territory, and the shooting down of an alleged Chinese that is spy balloon that flew over the United States this year. And so the United States long-term and frequent sending of ships and planes to conduct close surveillance on China seriously harms China's national sovereignty and security. So Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said when asked about the latest incident. So this kind of provocative, dangerous activities is the cause of the security issues in the sea, Mao said, calling on Washington to immediately stop this form of dangerous provocation. And so China will continue to take all necessary steps to resolutely protect its own sovereignty and security. And so the U.S. military said on Tuesday, a Chinese fighter pilot had performed an unnecessarily aggressive maneuver near an American surveillance aircraft operating over the South China Sea last week. Video footage released by U.S. military shows a Chinese fighter plane crossing in front of the American aircraft, which can be seen shaking from the resulting turbulence. And so the Chinese plane that flew directly in front of and within 400 feet of the nose of the RRC that is 135, forcing the U.S. aircraft that is to fly through its weak turbulence on Friday, the Indo-Pacific Command said in a statement. And so the RRC-135 was conducting safe and routine operations over the South China Sea in international airspace in accordance with international law, it is said. So, but China's military said on Wednesday the U.S. jet broke into a military training area, is what you need to know. Now, the Pentagon said the incident was part of a pattern of behavior by China. And so a senior U.S. defense official said there has been an alarming increase in the number of risky aerial intercepts and confrontations at sea by Chinese aircraft and ships, and so actions that have the potential to create an unsafe incident of a miscalculation is what you need to know right there. So the announcement of the latest incident came a day after the Pentagon said Beijing had refused a U.S. invitation for defense secretary, that is Lloyd Austin, to meet his Chinese counterpart in Singapore this week. And so the senior U.S. defense official said the timing of the announcement of the South China Sea incident was unrelated to China's refusal to the invitation, explaining that information was subject to the U.S. military disclassification process and U.S. diplomatic communication process right there. And so Beijing said in response to reports of the Singapore cancellation that the United States was entirely responsible for the current difficulties in exchanges between the two, that is, militaries. And so on the other hand, the United States keeps saying that it wants to strengthen communication. Chinese Defense Ministry spokesperson Tan Kefi said that on Wednesday. And so, but on the other hand, it ignores that is China's concerns and artificially creates obstacles, seriously undermining mutual that is trust between the two militaries, he said. And so Austin and other U.S. officials have been working to show up alliances and also partnerships in Asia as part of efforts to counter what they say are increasingly assertive moves by Beijing. But there have also been tentative signs that the two sides were working to lower the temperature right there. So United States National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan and top Chinese diplomat Wang Yi met in Vienna this month, and President Joe Biden said later that ties between Washington and Beijing should thaw very soon. And so that is latest information that I can really bring to your attention in regards to the relationship between China and that is Washington right there for you. And so you have to believe that China and the United States of America, they will continue to have this kind of mimics, I would really call it like that, because this is not the first time that we are hearing China and US really having issues in regards to showing their muscle when it comes to the warfares that they do have, and also the hardware when it comes to the military hardware, who has what. And so this has continued over several years, and so they continue to really try to have their competition. For me, I just call it a competition between the two blocks, and that is China and also Washington or US right there for you. All right, dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be diving into what we have in the world of sport this morning. It is KOKOLIRIKO live on Westnile Television. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house of Westnile Television here on plot 39A, Weatherhead Park Lane here in Arua City. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's go for a break. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
And DJ Zero comes on the floor. Chill. Feel.
Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana. Tekina kitambana, nami ndo kitambana.
Mudonda bakunyumira wano tewanyuma. Tuwaze na kulapia kati mwe. Tonenye kunyumira dekanzine. Aluwa kiruze kuwa zinira mu. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Lekanzine, toja zina. Wangano zina ndawa tonywa bia. Amatuki, atongoku. Amatuki, atongoku. Amatuki, atongoku. Ikatuku mini bia yoba.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Where we All right, we'll be back. You are still watching Westnile Television. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house right here. You have to know that 80 minutes on the top of the hour. That is 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's get to that is some stories that we have in the world of sports this morning, starting right here in our country, Uganda. Marvin Nyanzi dreaming big after that is a climaxing maiden top tire campaign. Is what you need to know right there. That this gentleman called Marvin Nyanzi is really dreaming very big after climaxing. That is the maiden top tire campaign. campaign is also another story that you need to know right there. Quick-footed midfielder Marvin Nyanzi dreams of achieving more after reaching the end of this season. First season playing top-tier football after an exciting show at Kajansi United and Budo Cesar. He left many thrilled by his style of play, and Wakiso Giants got hold of his signature right away on a 2-year employment contract. And so Marvin Nyanzi has been signed by Wakiso Giants on a 2-year employment contract right there for you. And so Nyanzi says that it was a whole complete ambience in the Uganda Premier League compared to the regional league. And so quoting him saying that, I must say the campaign was a bit challenging because there was much to learn. I'm glad to walking a journey of a great experience right there for you. And so I think this is a good one for Marvin Nyanzi, who has been signed by that is Wakiso Giants right there. And so you have to know that Frank Mulindwa says it is time for Buwekula Saza to celebrate the Holy Grail also right there. And then also say Noah girls school to face Morocco, England, and surely opposition in ISF, that the football championship is what is going on. Then Wankluku Stadium to host a double header in second preliminary round 2023 Baika football. And also Chibuli Secondary School to face Qatar, China, and Cote d'Ivoire opposition 2023 ISF football championship right there for you. And so that is what we can bring for you in the world of local sport here in our country, Uganda. And so let's get to some of the news coming in from that is Europe in regards to football right there. And so some lad is set to leave Leeds United. The Brendan Rodgers and also Graham Potter's on short list is also what you need to know right there. And so what is happening currently is more of the transfer talks. You want to know which team has gone where exactly. And so this is the time that we can really tell you that Karim Benzema breaks silence on Real Madrid exit rumors is what you need to know right here. And so who is this gentleman called Karim Benzema? He has been one of the key players playing for that Real Madrid. And so Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema has played down rumors claiming that he is on the verge of agreeing a big money move to Saudi Arabia. And so the 35-year-old, that is a long-term future at the Santiago, that is Bernabeu, has been called into question as his contract is due to expire at the end of this month. And so multiple reports have started that Benzema is set to end his trophy-laden 40-year career with Los Blancos and sign the lucrative contract with the Saudi Pro League outfit, that is It helped hard right there. And so 2022 Ballon d'Or winner is said to have received the jaw-dropping offer that is worth 400 million euros, or that is translating into 346 million pounds over a 2-year deal. And the Frenchman could confirm his departure at some stage this weekend. And so, however, Benzema has since responded to the speculation about his future, stating that the internet is not reality. And so, speaking at a press conference on Thursday, Benzema said that, speak about what? Why do I have to talk about the future? I am at Real Madrid. What is said comes from the internet, and the internet is not reality. And so Benzema added. And so at the moment, I am here. We have a game on Sunday, and I know how much Real Madrid fans love me. I feel that when I am on the pitch, I give my best for them always, and I always say that we play with 11 on the pitch, but also with the crucial factors. That is according to Real Madrid fans right there. So I am very proud of my work. I enjoy every moment in Madrid. Going to, that is Valdebebas to train is not a job. In my head, I enjoy Madrid. A chess study today and tomorrow in training. And so Real Madrid manager, that is Carlo Ancelotti revealed that last month that the La Liga giants have no immediate plans to recruit a new centre forward amid uncertainty over Benzema's that is a future, but acknowledge that the Frenchman is entering the final stages of his career. And so remember, Karim Benzema is also aging, and so he is also looking forward to seeing how he can really resign from football, active football exactly, and as it has been confirmed by that is Ancelotti in regards to the rumors about Karim Benzema right there. And so we wait to see what will really happen, whether he will be able to move or not. We shall also be getting to know right there. Newcastle United make a contract with that is Victor Osimhen agent. It's also another story that you need to know that Arsenal choked by Williams Saliba salary demand. You have to know here that Arsenal have reportedly been left shocked by the wage demands of William Saliba's agents as they try to sort out an agreement over a new contract right there. So before suffering a season-ending back injury against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, the 23-year-old established a reputation as one of the Premier League leading centre-backs in the 2022-2023 campaign right there. And so Saliba ended his breakthrough season in Arsenal colours with 3 goals and an assist from 33 appearances, starting 27 Premier League games in succession after waiting 33 years for his competitive debut right there. And so the France international's absence coincided with Arsenal's dropped off in form during the title run in, as Mikel Arteta side won just 5 of their that is the final 11 Premier League games, with Rob Holding and Jakub Kiwori rotating in the back line. Nevertheless, a second place finished propelled Arsenal back into the Champions League for the first time since that is the 2016-2017 season, and the Gunners are currently prioritizing contract renewals for their coveted young stars right there. So Bukayo Saka, Aaron Ramsdale, and then Gabriel Martinelli and also Gabriel Magalhaes have all put a pen to paper, and Saliba's renewal in the next top priority on the agenda of sporting director Edu. And so the Gunners activated a 12-month extension in December to ensure that Saliba would not leave on a free treatment, on a free transfer this summer. But the ex-Saint Etienne could still depart from nothing in 2024 as things stand. So there's yet to be a breakthrough in talks with the 22-year-old camp. Though Anne claims that the money is proving to be the biggest stumbling block. Arsenal have supposedly offered Saliba a new and improved deal that is worth £120,000 per week, trembling his current wage of £40,000 per week. But they have been left stunned by what his agents are demanding. As a result, the Gunners are fearful that Paris Saint-Germain could swoop into the summer and Arsenal could not compete with the League One champions financially. And so that's something that you need to know in the transfer news right this morning in regards to what you need to know. And so what rumors do you want to hear in regards to the transfer that we do have right? So in the rumors, I need to give you here I think the done deals. Do we have anything in the done deals? Let's say Conor Cody to return to Wolverhampton Wanderers as Everton reject permanent deal is also another done deal that you have to do right there. And then also the Brentford signed Max Flecken in £11 million transfer is also another thing that you need to know, that the Brentford have signed a goalkeeper Max Flecken from that is a Freiburg for a reportedly £11 million fee right there. So the Netherlands international joins the West London club on a 4-year deal, subject to international clearance and a work permit. I am very excited. Flecken told Brentford's official website, it is a whole new chapter for me and the next big step in my career right there. And so I am really looking forward to my time here at Brentford, and it is really lovely to be here. If you had told me 7 years ago when I was in the 3rd division of Germany that one day I would be playing in the Premier League, I would have probably knocked you down. And so but if it is a dream come true and my next step, big step, and I hope we can take the next steps as a squad and as a club as well. And so Flecken went on to add, I am a ball-playing goalkeeper. I try to bring calmness into the squad, and I will always try to direct the guys in front of me. I will help them to help me. The only way to achieve as much as possible is together. And so that is one of the key things want to bring. And so commenting on the transfer, Brentford boss Thomas Frank said, we are very happy to have signed Mark. He is a player with a lot of quality who will strengthen our goalkeeper group. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to the done deal that has been already signed right there for you. What else do you want to know this morning? All right, so we still have a lot for you. We do thank you very much. You have to know the 9 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. With that done deal of that is Mark joining, that is a Brentford, we have come to the end of our KOKOLIRIKO Live and also Sports Update this morning. We do appreciate you very much. Do not forget at exactly that is 2 to 3. Frudibo Owen, Lady Susie, together with Benson, they will be right here in the studio to do for you the analysis of what is happening in the world of sports right locally, right here in Westnile, in Uganda, and also what is happening in Africa. Different sports activities that are taking place in the world. They will be able to dive into some of the rumors and also the transfer news that will be trickling in. Remember, in Europe, each and every time people are really discussing how to sign new players and also how much each club has really set aside to really purchase new players, and how many players from different clubs that we have in Europe are really, have been, released for really a sale right there. And so do not forget, after it is a Friday, Luke Barababi will be coming up next with Maurice Eriku, and do not forget exactly that is 11. We shall be able also to have the Islamic hour where we shall be having our Juba prayer here on Westnile Television, and then from 1 to 2 MC Sarge with the Street Talk will be bouncing back. And to catch me at exactly 7 p.m. in the evening for the Nilecast on Westnile Television. All right, thank you. Catch me again next week for KOKOLIRIKO Show on Westnile Television. Have the best of your weekend. Enjoy. And those who have got accident in the accident that I have just talked about in the morning, we wish them well. And those who have departed from us, we pray to the Almighty to forgive them and accord them the eternal rest. Good morning.